Let's broaden this discussion and bring in former Labor Senator Graham Richardson and start by talking about your reaction to the detainee ruling.
Well, I think that ruling was probably expected. I don't think anyone's been terribly shocked by hearing it come down. So I don't think governments have an excuse to not act on this quickly. They must have foreseen it.
And would you agree with what James Patterson just said, which is that the deportation bill was massively rushed? There are many flaws, and amendments need to be made.
Yeah, well, obviously, while I'm never keen to criticise Labor, I think he made some good points. I don't think that there was a need to rush it at the rate they tried to do. And whenever you do that, you're going to make some errors.
Let's talk about gas strategy. A lot of discussion and, in fact, a bit of a rebellion within Labor from the backbenchers about where Australia is going in decarbonisation if it keeps on using gas.
Well, I can remember when using gas was seen as a great saviour. Now it's just another evil. I'm amused by the way that these things change. But I certainly don't regard gas as some terrible enemy. It's better than some other methods we could use. So I'm not going to be critical of the fact that there's gas being used.
But I'm also seeing calls for there to be a gas export reform, because right now we're not ensuring cheap supplies for ourselves and ensuring that we get enough for our exports.
Absolutely. I think we need that. We are certainly not ensuring enough for ourselves. And while I don't think you should ever, make a virtue out of being selfish, this is one time when perhaps you can. We should be reserving enough for ourselves. We should make sure that there's never the possibility that we'll run out at home.
Do you use much social media? Your thoughts on the inquiry? Are you at risk of misinformation?
Yeah, look, I haven't worried too much about the inquiry, I've got to say. I'm not even certain why we're having one. I think we know enough about this.
Really? You think there's enough transparency online? Because where my kids get news is TikTok.
Yeah, well, there are other avenues to TikTok, and hopefully we can get people onto them rather than TikTok. But I think TikTok's become such a part of the fabric of our kids' lives. It's very hard to imagine how we'll be without it. There's no doubt about the Chinese. They're clever buggers, aren't they?
I'll refrain from comment. The big event, of course, next week is Tuesday's budget, and a bit of controversy about the Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, encouraging people to have more babies. Someone in the newsroom piped up with, if there was better and cheaper childcare. And also I'm hearing, for example, from remote areas, that the youth crime of today might be an unintended result of the baby bonuses of, say, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I doubt that. I think it's really a way of how society is developing, and in some of those areas, the development is definitely not good. In fact, it can be terrible. And I fear for some of those communities and their future if we can't rein in some of this youth crime. And remember, when we say youth, some of the perpetrators here are 10 years old. They're hardly youth; they're kids, and I don't know what you do about that.
Yeah. Lazy parenting. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to speaking to you again. Former Labor Senator Graham Richardson.